So regarding the hard problem of consciousness, I actually think this problem I think has turned into a different problem over the course of philosophers of mind just talking about it because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So the way that it's framed these days is why and how humans have qualia. Um, and what that means is the qualia is like the experience of what something is like. And allegedly, this contrasts with the easy problems, which explain physical systems that give us and other animals the ability to discriminate, integrate information, and so forth. If you are able to do this, you're experiencing the motherfucker. This is the same problem. What are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? Anyway, yeah, and Chalmers, who I previously noted is not that wise, claims that once all of these easy problems, right, of explaining the physical systems are solved, then the hard problem will persist. This is a prediction, not a measured fact. This wasn't this because this hasn't been done. Yeah. So if we go down a little bit, Jesus Christ. So easy problems are allegedly these are problems concerned with behavior, mechanistic analysis of relevant neural processes that accompany that behavior, which they can't do. Examples of these include how sensory systems work, how data is processed in the brain, how data influences behavior or verbal reports, blah 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 blah. Yeah, you don't actually understand this shit correctly in the first place. But then here, okay, the hard problem. This is why and how these processes are accompanied by experience. These processes are the experience. Right? So like in my previous example, having the experience of driving in a Buick Century from the turn of the century, like a 1999 Buick Century, becoming aware of this particular kind of car, is that experience is what makes you aware of Buick Centuries. Before that, you have no reason to give a fuck. Right? The process is the experience. Now, I would say that there is a sort of a hard problem of consciousness, which is not what this is covering. And I think historically this is where the hard problem is coming from, and it's just been fucked up by logicism and physicalism and all of this nonsense because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And I would say that the actual hard problem of consciousness is going to be none of this shit, but like what something like soul refers to, or what, if you don't like that term, then mind might even refer to. So it doesn't even have anything to do with experiencing shit outside of you. It's the internal experience of yourself. Why are you you? That is a much harder and more interesting, I think, question. A much harder problem of consciousness. Like, why? And I don't even know how to say it. I don't even know how to frame this. And I think that's part of the problem here. I think that's why they took this easy problem and split it up into two parts because they're like, I don't know how to talk about this, so let's just meh. I think that's what they did. I think they just like fucking broke it, and whatever. And what they're claiming is the hard problem of consciousness is not at all hard. It's just maybe a deeper down the line version of the easy problem. And because they haven't actually solved the easy problem entirely, they're like, oh, well, it's harder if you go that way. Like, sure, okay. But Chalmers is just an idiot. Um, but yeah, no, this deep, like if you meditate and you actually calm yourself and you are now faced with simply experiencing yourself, what in the hell is that? What is that experience? What is going on there? That is a much more interesting question, right? That thing that you are, is that separate from your body? I don't know. Is that explicable via physicalism? I have no idea, and neither do you. Right? You can posit like, well, this is the part that um, that in Christianity that Jesus saves, right? This is the part that in Hinduism and Buddhism and other uh, uh, ideologies where there is reincarnation. This is the part of you that is reincarnated. Um, yeah, I mean, you could say that, and that makes sense. Because I don't know. That might be true. I have no idea. Because like, you can deliberately set up a situation where you enhance the contrast between this part of you and your physical senses, right? And that's one of the goals of meditation, is to achieve that. Um, the fact that this is just not even addressed as a problem of consciousness within the Western tradition says a lot, I think. It's like, you have no idea what you're talking about in the Western tradition here. Like, you guys are so full of shit that you've completely missed this very basic thing. And you've turned everything regarding consciousness outward, and you're looking at experiences of things like, colors and objects and whatever. You're trying to nail it down with a physicalist approach, with what you can measure scientifically, and you cannot measure. I don't think you can measure this very personal experience of yourself. I don't think there's any mechanism to measure that other than you yourself looking at that, experiencing that, having that experience. And obviously, you're not going to be able to see everything that's going on. Like, why does that happen? How does that happen? What is this meanness that is occurring here? What is really going on here? How is this associated with my physical form? Yeah. And then this comes back to the pea zombie thing. So, how could you tell if there was a person that didn't have that? Right. So, like, the whole philosophical zombie thing, it's supposed to be this hypothetical, indecipherable situation where the some person that exists doesn't have conscious experience. If there was a person who didn't have what I'm talking about here, how could you possibly tell? I don't think you could. honestly, until that person finds themselves in a situation where, like, whatever triggers the experience of the self, I don't understand what it is. Um, Whatever triggers that, like, it's a very strange sensation. Whatever triggers it. Prior to that, they don't even know whether they have it or not. Right? So again, it comes back to, like, qualia is easy to explain, basically. The alleged hard problem of consciousness is actually easy to explain. The process is the experience. The experience is the process. That is what it is. Right? It's, what the hell are you guys talking about? So the process of experiencing this self, the conscious self, independent of outward experiences, is the qualia of that consciousness, of that whatever the fuck. I don't even know how to say this. Yeah. So the alleged hard problem of consciousness isn't even a problem, really. But this thing, what is this? I feel like soul is a very good word for this. Whether you want to accept supernatural aspects to it or not. Like, I feel like the fundamental meaning of soul is this. I think that's what that word is pointing at. And I think that's what the hard problem of consciousness was originally pointing at, but they had to reframe it because of physicalism and empiricism. They had to reframe it in a way where they could actually measure shit. And when you do that, it divorces it from its original meaning, and now you have to name it something else, and you have to treat it differently, and it becomes a non-problem like this. Yeah, it would be much more interesting, I think, if this was taken more seriously. And the fact that it's not might actually be an indication that individuals like David Chalmers are P-zombies in this respect. Because if they're not, you have all of these individuals talking about this, and, like, the hard problem of consciousness, as far as they can discern, is what's outlined here, and not what I'm talking about. Maybe they don't have this, which makes them, in a reasonable definition, it makes them P-zombies. I don't know. I am merely proposing what I can see, which is very, very little.